Hello everyone, welcome to Gosport Railworks. My name's James and today we're doing another monthly product showcase video. And this time we've got 3 lovely products today. We've got 2 steam engines and a multiple unit. So we'll start off with the tank engine over here, which is a LSWR T1 class, which is an Adams locomotive. And it fits on the Dapol M7 chassis. This is the new M7 chassis, but it probably could fit on the old one as well. But I wanted to try out the new one. That's looking quite nice. Very happy with how that one's turned out. Still got a few issues which I need to sort out from my printer with the cab, but yeah, that one's a long-term project which I have to work out, but still, it looks quite nice. Onto the tender engine, which I'm quite happy how it's turned out, is the Maunsell version of the LSWR N15 class, so it's a King Arthur class. And it's very nice how it's turned out. Do excuse the damage to the funnel up top there. I accidentally damaged it while cleaning bits off, and yeah, I've used a little bit of milliput just to fix it. But it's using the the Ferris 5MT chassis with a couple of modifications just to make it fit a bit more snugly. But yeah, it's turned out quite nicely. You could probably improve it by changing the tender chassis to the N-class one, but still, it's turned out nice and I'm happy with it. And finally, onto the multiple unit, we've got a Southern Railway to Knoll, which was requested by one of my usual customers, and yeah, pretty much built it within that week. Well, not that week, week after. But yeah, I'm very happy with how that one's turned out. It's got the usual door handles and other handrails as well, as many of them as I can fit, and the usual details on the front. So let me just quick zoom in there. Just about see them, and it fits on a usual Tomitech chassis as well, and comes with a underframe 40 trailer. So yeah, happy with all them. Anyway, let's get them onto my desk and then I can show you a bit more about how to put them together and any modifications which you do need to do onto each chassis so you can build them yourself. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Right, here we are with all 3 products, and let's start with the easiest one to put together. So I'm going to put the steam engines over here because they have a little bit more involved work to put together. So we'll start with the trailer, which is quite easy, which is basically well, you paint it, you undercoat it, and you pick out all the details, do some extra little handrails, add all the glazing, and then stick this on the bottom after painting it, and then stick the bogies on the bottom. And that's pretty much the trailer done. For the power car, first of all, you need to remove all the supports from the inside, because it's always good. Paint it, obviously, and do all the other things, which you just did to the trailer car as well, for the body. And for the power chassis itself, you do need to remove parts of the ends just to make it a bit more easy to slip inside the body here. Just so that the body doesn't slide down, you do need to add, well, I recommend adding some little bits of plastic card here or card or whatever you feel like, just to help it so that it doesn't slide all the way down and then get a bit caught inside the body. And that's pretty much it, really. It's like I said, my multiple units are quite easy to put together, and like I said, if I can put it together, so can everybody else, because I'm absolutely awful. So yeah, pop them all over there. Let's go with the T1. Now with T1, oh come on, you came off a minute ago. There we go. Right, you have the M7 chassis. And you strip off all the M7 bits because we don't need them. Keep the buffers because they might actually be useful. I think I've got some of them over there. And yeah, what we need to do, the most important thing, is to shave off about 2 mil or a bit more off the back here. That's the main thing which I've actually done. In fact, I think that's the only thing which I've done. So yeah, you need to remove about 2-3 mil off the back there because the T1 is actually a bit shorter than the M7. And that's the main thing which I've done, which I've said about 3 times now. To make it a bit lower, it's going to be a bit more difficult. Because first of all, the motor is in the way, and you need that. And maybe able to make it a bit lower by filing or sanding, whatever you call it. Removing about a couple of mil off the top of the worm gear protection bit here, whatever it's called. We'll just call it the worm gear protection. But yeah, this part of the chassis, just remove about a couple of mil off there, maybe a bit off the tanks as well. The motor, you can't do anything with other than replacing it, which may give you a couple of more millimeters, and then you'll be able to get it a bit more snug right inside. However, I'm probably just going to leave mine exactly like this. So, leave that there. Right, and finally on to the N15, the King Arthur, which I'm very happy with. So, yes, let's get the body carefully off. Just be very careful with this because it does like breaking. There we go. And get the body off that. There we go. Right. This is actually the sound fitted, well, not sound fitted, but it does have the speaker in the tender, which is actually in the way. Let me just point with something. Where is a pointing stick? There's a pointing stick. Right. What you need to do first is remove the circuit board for the speaker, because you don't need it. I would have loved to have a sound fitted N15 and have it going choo-choo all the way around, but unfortunately the circuit board is in the way because this tender body is actually a bit too low. If you use the N-class tender, which you can get a speaker fitted version of that might actually work better. However, you do have to do a bit of rewiring. So if you use that, keep the speaker, keep the tender, because it will be the exact same tender anyway. Tender body. But yeah, on mine, I stripped it all out because I didn't want it. And yeah, the only other main thing that I did, I clipped the tops of the cylinders off just to make it a bit more flat. I may cleaned it up a bit more with a file. Another thing which I've done is for the valve gear support here. I don't know the exact name, but the valve gear support here, I basically clipped off the top of them just to make it a bit more flat as well, and that's pretty much it really. Some other improvements which I could do is, you see how the was it the not the M 5MT does have a bell pair firebox, which means it has this little, well, doesn't have a rounded smoke box firebox here. Unfortunately, the N15 has a rounded firebox, so yeah, one other improvement you can probably do is just file down these little bits here and make it a bit more snug. But otherwise, once you've done the basics, pop that on there, and you carefully pop that on there. Hope that you don't break anything. And that's pretty much done. And yeah, you paint it, do all the usual things, add handrails, add coal, and away you go. And that's pretty much it, really. So yeah, let's get it onto the turntable and tell you a bit more about each of the prototypes, and then we'll get it back onto layout and see if we can get one of them running. In fact, all three of them should be running because I really didn't do any work to the chassis. So yeah, I'll probably get this one running because I do like the N15. So see you in a bit. The LSWR N15 class was a British two-cylinder 460 express passenger locomotive designed by Robert Urey. The class has a complex build history spanning 3 subclasses and 10 years of construction from 1918 to 1927. The first batch of the class was constructed for the London South Western Railway, where they hauled heavy express passenger trains to the South Coast ports and further west to Exeter. Following the grouping of the railway companies in 1923, the LSWR became part of the Southern Railway, and its publicity department gave the N15 locomotives names associated with Arthurian legend, the class hence becoming known as King Arthur's. The chief mechanical engineer of the newly formed company, Richard Maunsell, modified the Urey locomotives in light of operational experience and increased the class strength to 74 locomotives. The Southern Railway's motive power reorganisation following the grouping of 1923 saw the class allocated to sheds across the network and used on Bournemouth to Oxford cross-country trains. Operations were expanded to more restricted central and eastern section main lines in 1925, and suitably modified class members board commuter and heavy boat trains from London Victoria to Dover Marine and expresses to Brighton. After the poor steaming of the Uri batch was addressed, the class proved popular among crews, mechanically reliable, and capable of high speeds. The two Maunsell batches, with their streamlined steam passages and better draughting arrangements, were superior in performance and were a popular choice when bullied locomotives were unavailable. The class gave many years of service and were noted for their ability to do the job. One example, number 77 Sir Lamel, is preserved as part of the National Collection and can be seen on mainline rail tours. The London South Western Railway T1 class was a class of 50 044 steam tank locomotives designed for suburban passenger work by William Adams, and was in all intents and purposes a tank engine version of the A12 class locomotives of the previous year. 20 were built between 1888 and 1890, with a second batch built between 1894 and 1895 that were basically the same, though with the steam chest between the cylinders, as opposed to beneath them on the first 20, and weighing in at more than 2 tons heavier. This second batch of 30 engines was officially classified as the F6 class, with the last 10 finished under Drummond's tenure, and appeared with his number plates, Adams chimneys, and no brass beading. The classes were built principally to haul London suburban services, but were also found on all parts of the LSWR and at Ludgate Hill, though they were not all that common in the west of England. 2 of the class, when new, were put to work on the Sidmouth branch, whilst others were studied at Plymouth, Fratton, Andover, Bournemouth, and Salisbury, as well as those in London. All of the T1s were withdrawn by 1936. The F6s fared a little better, with several lasting into British Railways ownership. Drummond chimneys appeared on many of the engines, though not all of them had been replaced by the time the Southern Railway inherited the classes. A few received Drummond boilers during their later lives. However, the same boiler was used on at least 3 of these engines, and it is possible that only one boiler was involved. No complete T1 locomotives were saved for preservation. However, a boiler and smokebox from a withdrawn locomotive was found in a factory in Essex back in the 1980s, and was subsequently purchased for use on a new T1 locomotive. This boiler has been stored on the Avon Valley Railway. The Southern Railway gave the designation 2-null to the electric multiple units built during the 1930s from old London South Western Railway carriage bodies on new underframes. None of these units survived long enough in British rail ownership to be allocated a tops class. The 2 null units, so called as they were 2-car no lavatory stock, were built between 1934 and 1936 by taking former LSWR carriage bodies, lengthening them, and placing them on new underframes. They were intended for use on slow services on the south coast and in South London. The motor third brakes were produced by taking a 48-foot 8-compartment third, removing half of one compartment, and adding a steel-panelled guard's van and a driving cab. The driving trailer composites were produced from a 48-foot 8-compartment thirds, but 2 whole compartments were removed, and 3 first-class compartments from a 46-foot 6-compartment lavatory first were added at one end, and a steel-bodied driving cab at the other. 4 units were drawn between 1941 and 1955. Of these, 2 units were drawn in 1941, one being the result of bomb damage. 2 units sustained accidents in 1951, damaging 1 coach in each unit, but it was possible to form 1 good unit from the 2 undamaged coaches, so only 1 unit needed to be withdrawn. Unit 1853 was withdrawn following an accident at Barnes in December 1955. The majority of these units were withdrawn between 1956 and 1959, when the old bodies were scrapped and the underframes were reused. 4 units donated their frames to new 4 EPB coaches, but the frames from 70 units were used to construct 34 new 2 EPB and 36 new 2 HAP units. There remained 31 units in stock in the summer of 1959, but they had all been withdrawn by the end of August 1959. Right, that's pretty much all 3 of them. So, yeah, very happy with how they've come out. Very happy with the amount of detail which I managed to get onto Null. I do have to mention one thing. I did have to slightly widen it compared to the blueprints, because well, it wouldn't fit on any other chassis really, because it's quite narrow. So I've made it a little bit wider so that the internal space is 15mm, so it can actually fit on my usual power chassis. But other than that, that's turned out quite nice. The T1, yeah, very happy with that. Still want to make it a bit more lower just to make it a bit more accurate, but otherwise I'm happy with that. And obviously I'm happy with the N15 because I've now got another Southern 460 to run on my layout, because, well, actually my Lord Nelson I still need to fix because I keep putting off buying a new motor. So yeah, once that's all painted up, I'll finally have a Southern 460 to run round. And yeah, I'll give it a little demonstration in a moment. But yeah, do let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Are you still unsure about my new format for my models? But either way, let me know down below. And yeah, if you do like the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And that's going to be it for me. So let's get the King Arthur on its way. And where's my battery? There's the battery. So off we go. So take care now. Bye bye. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Take care now.